Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by a man who didn't speak for years when he was young. He's transformed from weird, bullied boy to one of the most respected, fair, and fearless journalists today. His miraculous life story is Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. We welcome NewsNation's Leland Vittert.
Hey, Sean, good to be with you. Thank you. I think my wife would say I'm still weird, but I'll take it.
Wives always do that. Leland, let's go Beyond the Mic. Your book is sold out twice, even before the first release. Your dad said, quote, "I went from zero to loving you in 2 seconds," unquote. How did his relentless push through 106 failed sales calls before finding success inspire you discovering your own success?
You know, Sean, there's an awful lot in there, and thank you for reading the book. It's clear you did because of the question. This is a story to give parents the hope that my dad didn't. So my dad was an entrepreneur, a successful one. He had me. They were 35. He had never really wanted a kid. And at 5 years old, they were told that I needed to be, quote unquote, evaluated. So they take me to one of those little medical office buildings and send me off with the child psychologist. They're sitting there, old magazines, stale coffee, whatever. 2 hours later, the woman brings me back and says, we don't really know what's going on with him. There's a lot of problems, and it's hard to understand what's happening inside his head. I had severe learning disabilities. A 20-point spread between the two halves of an IQ test is a learning disability. I had a 70-point spread, so from genius to mentally retarded in the parlance of the day. I had really awful behavioral issues. I could not understand social or emotional interaction with people my own age. And my dad says, okay, well, what can we do? This was a man who had built companies and understood how to change things through sheer will. And the woman says, there's not much you can do. And she said, we don't know what's going on. And my dad said, is there anything we can do? And she said, generally not. So Born Lucky gives hope to every parent of a kid who is struggling, autism, ADHD, anxiety, bullying in school, gives those parents the hope that they can make a real difference that my parents didn't have.
As a dad with a child with ADHD, I appreciate this book. Leland, what did the lessons he taught you, social cues, etc., help you become a better journalist?
Look, I don't know how it is to be any different than I am, right? So I appreciate the question, Sean. The problem is I am who I am. I think what I would tell you is that had he not taken me through and held my hand through the adversity of middle school and high school and grade school, I would have been a sort of a pile of mush. And, there was a very important lesson that he gave me, which is I am going to adapt you to the world, not the world to you. This was about teaching me how to be more than what I was and helping me interact in the world as the world does. So, when I was in 7th grade, my parents had already pulled me out of 2 schools because of the bullying. They get called into the principal's office. They get sat down in the principal's office, and 2 weeks into school at this new school, the principal looks at them and says, everybody in this school thinks your kid is quite weird. And so after arrow number 1 through the heart, she follows up with arrow number 2, and I do too. I think Lucky is weird. And my parents didn't tell anybody. They never told anybody about my diagnosis. They wanted me to learn how to adapt to the world. They didn't want me defined by the diagnosis. And more importantly, they didn't want me to use it as an excuse.
Leland Vittert's book is Born Lucky, a dedicated father, a grateful son, and my journey with autism. And he joins us Beyond the Mic for the Rocky Nate 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There's no pressure. Favorite flavor of Dots candy?
Red.
Ah, love the Reds. Best thing about your wife, Rachel?
Emotional EQ, the temperature of the sun.
Best cigar you ever had was a?
Ashton.
What's the last thing you cooked in your green egg?
Beef tenderloin.
Best place for a vacation is?
Oh boy, I'd have to say going back home to northern Michigan.
When you're on a plane, aisle, window, or middle seat?
Well, I would say window, but normally it's middle because my wife likes the window and then I have to sit next to her.
The best movie ever is?
Top Gun.
When was the last time you went rowing?
After high school, I quit rowing and I swore I would never look at a rowing machine again. I had thrown up on way too many of them. Born Lucky talks about how important rowing and working out is in my life. So that part of my life is over.
Let's sneak in one more with Leland Vittert beyond the mic. Leland, how did writing this book change the way you see yourself?
Look, I had never gone to therapy. I had never talked about any of these stories. My family's intensely private. And it has the deepest, as you know, Sean, from reading Born Lucky, the darkest, most awful parts of my life. And I think the reason it's resonating with people, we've sold out now twice on Amazon, we've had to reprint the book twice, is because it offers hope and it resonates with people. And if going through this awfulness all over again helps people, then it's worth it.
Leland, it's time for the impossible question. You said once, quote, "You don't have to be defined by a diagnosis," unquote. What are you defined by?
My character, which is what my dad taught me is all that matters. And in Born Lucky, you see why and how my dad came to that realization in that way of life.
It's time for One Big Question with Leland Vittert, beyond the mic, author of Born Lucky, A Dedicated Father, A Grateful Son, My Journey with Autism, beyond the mic. You said, quote, "It's not fun to go to therapy on national TV, but I'm doing it."
Yes.
Because I think it can really help folks, unquote. What's your message to the misunderstood, amazing kids out there?
The message is the same thing my dad told me in 7th and 8th grade every night when I was crying in my bedroom. That the qualities and characteristics that are making you isolated and bullied and hurt right now in life is what's going to make you successful later on. And he was absolutely right. He should have added, though, that what you're going through in middle school of the relentless bullying and isolation is really fabulous training for a Washington newsroom.
He last grilled a beef tenderloin, loves his wife's emotional EQ, and wants you to read his book, Born Lucky, A Dedicated Father, A Grateful Son, and My Journey with Autism. Leland Vittert, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
Well, Sean, thank you, and really appreciate you spreading the word. And I think I'm really happy that this is starting the conversation that needs to happen. So thank you.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.